Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Fresh one!
I got fresh one!
I'm bit too. There they come, they're boiling. I'm Dan Hernandez. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Sport Fishing. We're out on the Eclipse for tuna fishing. First stop of the morning, and they're biting. So stay tuned for this week's exciting episode of Sport Fishing. Fresh one! Welcome to Sport Fishing with Dan Hernandez. This week's episode of Sport Fishing is brought to you by Turner's Outdoorsman for all your fishing and hunting needs, by B52 Bucktails and Magic Metal Jigs, by Yamaha, reliability starts here, by Game Saver for preserving your fishing game, and by Dan Hernandez Baja Style Fish Batter.
Up towards the bow. Up towards the bow. Up towards the bow.
Another one.
Make it count, guys.
Run some fish around you guys. Watch the fish off. It's the first bite of the morning and it's wide open. Got 10, 12 fish already on the boat. There comes two more over here in the corner. I got my first fish on. My first bait got chewed on, the fish spit it out. Second bait, I got the fish going. We got 4 fish going here. There's 4 more up on the bow. They're gonna gap one right there, right there.
Kick me, preschool.
Good job. Thanks. Here comes my fish. This is great fishing. It's pretty wide open. Doesn't get much better than this. Been wanting to fish on this boat for a while with Mark. There's a nice tuna right there. There's a gap right here.
Yeah.
Nice bluefin. Gap! Gap! I got 4 lines on my fish. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, here's my first bluefin of the season. Nice fish right here. I got a bunch of lines on there. Just take a little break from the action right now and go to the tackle box and show you the gear we're using for today's trip. This week, the tackle box is brought to you by the California Department of Boating and Waterways, reminding you to dump at the pump. This week in the tackle box, I want to talk to you a little bit about offshore fishing with live bait. When I say offshore, we're mainly talking about tuna, but it could be dorado, yellowtail, doesn't really matter. Any of that kind of school-sized fish. So when you're fishing out there, there's basically two hook styles that we use. It's a J hook and a circle hook. And just to show you what they look like, this is a circle hook, this is a J hook, and the way you fish these is totally different. The circle hook, what you want to do is you cast it out, you let the fish run with the bait. It's going to run for a few seconds, 3-4 seconds. You put the reel in gear, you point the rod at the fish, and you start winding. The way circle hook works is the fish will take your bait, eat it, and digest it a little bit, and he's not hooked. He doesn't get hooked until he turns and goes away from you. And when he does that, the hook's going to get him right in the corner of the jaw. It's a great way to fish if you're new to fishing, or if you have people fishing with you that don't have a lot of experience. A circle hook is great because they don't have to think about when to set the hook. They put it in gear and the fish will hook themselves for you. It makes it nice and easy. Now with the J hook, it's totally different. J hook, you have to let the fish run with the bait. You go ahead and count to 3 or 4, put the reel in gear, and then you have to pull really hard because you got to drive this hook out of the bait and into the fish. So that's why I said if you're new to the sport, or you have people who are new to the sport, go ahead and use a circle hook because it takes all the thinking out of it for you. Now if you're not sure what hooks you need, I have my hook kits, and they're by Eagle Claw hooks, and there's 3 different hook kits. We have an inshore, offshore, and a surf fishing kit. The offshore kit is the one that you would want. It's got all the hooks you would need, different colors that I like, even has a DVD that shows how to tie knots and how to rig up for that type of fishing. And the other thing I'll tell you is that when you're fishing live bait, offshore tuna fishing, start off with heavy line. I always fish with 40-pound tests on that first bite because when you first slide up on those fish, they hit the boat with reckless abandon and they really charge the boat hard and they're not line shy. Use that heavier line. After you've been on the school for a little bit and you caught a fish or two, then you want to drop down to a 25-pound test, and if they get really picky, maybe 20-pound tests. But don't start off with 20 or 25, start off with the 40. You want to fish heavier line, that first stop. When I say the first stop, I don't mean just like the first stop of the day. I mean, let's say you get some fish in the gray, then you go a couple hours, and then you finally get another bite. As every time you get into that next bite, start off with the 40, start off with the heavy line. And that's, you know, how I do it. Really simple techniques, really easy to do. Don't be afraid of using the heavier line. The fish aren't line shy when you're out there fishing 50, 60, 100 miles offshore fishing these tuna. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing.
Color! What a stick. Nice yellowfin. What number? 18. You got it.
This week's Boat Bio is brought to you by Magic Metal Jigs and B52 Bucktail Jigs. The Eclipse is a large sport fisher that operates daily at a Seaforth landing in San Diego, California. On the deck you'll find 3 large bait tanks, and up in the wheelhouse all the modern electronics for fish finding, navigation, and communication. And in the galley area is plenty of room for anglers to get out of the weather and relax. She does both private charters and open party trips. The Eclipse is an awesome boat for any fishing trip you want to go on. For your next fishing trip, book a trip aboard the Eclipse.
One down. Go straight. Walk it out. One down.
out there, you're out there. Over the second one, over the second one. Under the third one. Under the third one. No, when it comes up, just leave them right there. Yeah! Another fresh one, baby! There's a new one. Not as big, but still tasty. 25, please. 25 it is. Yeah. Nice one on the Eclipse, baby. Wind up. Oh! Hey, Brian! That's good, baby. Come here. Come here, Brian. Turn around. Turn around.
Eclipse sport-fishing!
This is Brian who came out with us. Just caught this big tuna. What do you think this thing weighs?
Close to 80.
80? It's a big fish.
Tired.
Nice tuna. We're going to take a little break from the action out here aboard the Eclipse right now and go to the galley and show you how to cook up a delicious bluefin tuna like this one right here. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, Dan.
Good job, Brian.
Thanks, Eclipse sport-fishing. Dan Hernandez.
This week the galley is brought to you by Dan Hernandez Baja Style Fish Batter Mix. Great for fish and all seafood. Today in the galley we're going to do something a little bit different. What we're going to be doing is taking a piece of tuna that I smoked earlier using my Bradley smoker, the whole Bradley smoker system, and we're going to use this smoked fish. Now you can just eat this fish like it is right now and it's delicious. This bluefin tuna that was put in the smoker. And you could do that too. That could be part of the appetizers. This dish I'm going to do today is an appetizer dish from my cookbook, and it's a great dish, easy to do. And like I said, you could just use part of it with this. You can just serve this as one of your dishes, and then this dip that we're going to do right now, you can do that too. So what I did is I cut out a little chunk of that, a couple of pounds, and I have it all broken down. And I just broke it up in little tiny pieces here. It's all smoked tuna. It's just, you know, it's all smoked, just kind of cooked, so it's all ready to go. That is good. And all we're going to do now is add these other ingredients and make a nice little dip out of it. So first thing I want to do is add some mayonnaise to this. So I'm going to add a little bit of mayonnaise. Actually more than a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of blend that in a little bit. Mix it all up nice. And that's also going to help break down the fish a little bit. Now that we got this going, we'll start adding our ingredients. I'm going to take some garlic. Put that all in there. A little bit of cilantro. And in the recipe I put parsley, but I'm going to make this a little Latin version of it. Blend that in a little bit more. Now we're going to take the onions. You can use white or red. I really like the red onions. It adds a little bit more flavor. Get all that in there. And some celery to add some color. I'm going to take some Grey Poupon and add a little bit to it. And we're going to add a little bit more liquid, putting some Worcestershire sauce. And that's basically it. And all you're going to do is just kind of mix this up some more. And the other thing I've done with this dish in the past is add some cheese to bread and make a tuna melt. It comes out really, really good. You know, if you got kids that like tuna fish sandwiches, this will work out good too. It's just another way to use that smoked fish. At this point, we're all good to go. At this point, what I would do is, if I was making this for a presentation for at home, for an event like later today or tomorrow, put this in the refrigerator. It'd be great to let it sit for about an hour, and then it'd be ready to go, be ready to serve. And as it's sitting in the refrigerator, it's going to break it down a little bit more with all that mayonnaise and the other liquids in there. And that's it. It's a nice little dish, easy to do. And we started out with the smoked tuna, and we ended up with this nice little mixed tuna here. It works into a nice dip once you put it in the refrigerator. But this is good. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing.
Three! Woo! Get him, boy! Right out! Right out! Right out! All your fingers! Cut it off, Jason. Guys, spread yourself out. Sure. Here's the boat. Hang on. Come over. Good? Coming under. Oh, gotcha. nice Dorado here. First view of the season.
This week's tip of the week is brought to you by Magic Metal Jigs and Bucktail Jigs. For this week's tip of the week, I want to give you a tip that the skipper gave us last night, and that was to use a heavier line. When we first got on those bluefin, he said use 40-pound test line, that fish would be really aggressive, and they were. That's how I caught my bluefin today, was fishing 40-pound test line, and then once the fish showed up around the boat, we got a couple on the boat, then you can move down to the 30 and 25 pound. But 40-pound fluorocarbon was the hot ticket today. That's how I got my fish. Well, I want to thank the crew aboard the Eclipse. We had a great time on our charter today. Wasn't wide open fishing, but we got a good bite on those bluefin early and ended the day with those Dorado. It's just a lot of fun. Well, I'm Dan Hernandez, hoping you enjoyed this week's episode of Sport Fishing, and I hope you join us again next week as we go looking for more of the best in sport fishing.